Now we're live, so if I were to say something, one might confuse me as being the voice of the beholder. Thank you for watching the show. Starting on a professional note.
Oh god, are you actually live?
Yeah, we are actually live.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Off to a good start. Wait, how's my hair? Should I put the hat on? What do you think?
It's fine. How's it going, everybody? We are here going to do some pretty awesome stuff. Talk today about a little thing called raid loot. We've got some plans, and those plans are going to be pretty cool, and I believe you may enjoy them. And we've got someone here to talk about them here today. And I was even able to get our awesome beholder as our background. How cool is that?
I actually can't see what is happening. I only see the chat, so I'm sure it's fantastic.
Hello and welcome to the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream here on twitch.tv/DDO stream, youtube.com/DungeonsandDragons/live, and facebook.com/DDO Unlimited. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to be having a really fun show today, and if time permits, we'll probably even bum around a little bit on the server.
Not Thelanis.
No, I think it is Thelanis, actually.
Because you were in Thelanis like 2 weeks ago.
Was I? I say that's why I can't remember if I'm on Wayfinder or if it's week 2 of Thelanis. I think it's week 2 of Thelanis for some reason. Wayfinder. The chat tells me that is great. I've got a high-level character on Wayfinder.
I trust
no problem.
Wayfinder. I trust the Twitch chat more than I trust your memory at this point. That's it.
Yeah, it's probably a fair assumption. It's been busy. Okay, there's a thread on the DDO forums called The Endgame, Raid Loot, and Tomes. I tell you, this is sure to have great SEO.
Specifically,
yeah.
Well, I was going to title it just butts or like farts or something, you know what I mean? And then just make, because the only person doing, I think, who could change thread titles is you. And the plan was to wait until you were doing something else, like on a live stream, and that would just, you know, just ruin everything, but...
Well, you always ruin everything.
Yeah, that's debatable.
No. Actually, this would be a good thing.
So raid for 6 months.
So basically, the main goals are to make you hate raids more and get trash loot.
Yes.
No, the opposite of that is actually true.
I think right after I'm done nerfing bards and just, you know, we're gonna turn the entire thing off. No more bards. Also, oh, I can't even say what I'm doing out loud, but. Never mind. That joke didn't go anywhere.
So anyway, there is a new forum thread, and we're going to put that up on the screen, and we're going to go through it a little bit here. But the general idea is we're trying to address some of the long-standing issues with raid loot. When we redid the random loot gen system several years ago, now, it meant that some of the raid loot numbers perhaps didn't quite hold the appeal that they used to. You know, we did kind of more consistently scale up loot, because keep in mind all this old raid loot, a lot of it was created under an entirely different, like, itemization system than we have in place today. And one of the long-term projects that we've been wanting to do is get to that. However, fix raid loot on a sprint board tends to be something you would look at and go, oh my god, no, we can't do that. Are you freaking kidding me? But at the same time, we are doing that. And you have come up with a plan along with the rest of the DDO team here. This is a team effort to talk a little bit about what we're going to do today and make raids more relevant to more people with better loot. Yeah. So the reason, clearly, if I thought this was going to be a bad thing, I would not be hyping it up like this. But it's going to be quite awesome. So I think you're going to enjoy
hype up everything,
your time today.
Regardless of whether or not it's a good thing or a bad thing. Like, I am always hype. It's a challenge. Like, go to the dentist, excited. I'm always ready. Sitting in traffic, I'm always ready.
I approve. Okay, so, however, we want to get started here talking a little bit about the too long didn't read version. I've been talking long enough. Linabelle, what is the too long didn't read?
All right, well, we did a TLDR, but the TLDR was still too long, so we had to do two. Because this is a really long post with it has some graphs, it's got some paragraphs. It's got a lot of weird numbers, so we shortened it, then we shortened it again. But the double TLDR is that we're splitting up the raids available at cap, of which there are 11, by the way. There are 11 raids. We're splitting them up into 3 distinct tiers. And then the actual longer TLDR is we're splitting up into tiers. We're changing which tomes drop where. We're bringing all the tome drop rates up to Ravenloft's level. We're dropping the Racial Action Point tome in Killing Time, the Curse of Strahd, and Babala Saga. So, you know, it's pretty good. Like, speaking from experience, it's pretty good.
It won't stack with the tome that you might already have.
Yeah, it's the same. Just like tomes +1 won't stack with +1. If you've already got +1, you've already got it. But
the main point is we're really bringing into a consistent system that meshes with our current itemization system all the endgame raids. So if you have been in a place like, hey man, I love that raid, but I've got the stuff / just don't really have a reason to run it today, you may well find yourself the reason pretty soon.
Yeah, well, it's one of the main challenges about designing itemization, and that's the majority of my job at this point. Like, we've kind of, myself and the rest of the systems, we split off into, like, switch content systems and then, like, more class balance, and I ended up with itemization, is that whether or not an item is good at cap, it still occupies design space. So, like, if, say, for example, like the cool gloves, sanctified gauges that drop out of Mark of Death, like, in theory, they're awesome. Like, you punch people, you got smites, you know what I mean? You got light resistance, like, that is rad. But it's not that good anymore compared to other stuff. But we can't make sanctified gauges too. That's rude. You know what I mean? Like, people put a lot of work into getting those, and it's a shame to let such wonderful content. Like, that's the beauty of DDO is that we never have to let go. You know what I mean? We can put things anywhere we want from 1 to 30, and everyone can get a chance to experience them. And
you should maybe call up the forum thread here too. Do you have the forum thread?
Yeah, I'm looking at the Twitch thing on the. It's really small.
Yeah, I know it is a little bit on the small side, but the forum thread maybe, because I'm going to actually. Unless you've got the whole thing memorized.
I mean, I might do that.
Yeah.
I could read it out loud, but my voice gradually gets higher and higher pitched as I read things.
No, I actually, but here's why I wanted to bring that up. I figured let's get into some of the crunch here. If you would like to gear appropriately for your level and epic level content, there are a lot of options until level 28, and then level 29 has a smorgasbord of named loot to choose from. So, but that has made a position where, from the itemization and even to some extent what the rest of the design team, we're feeling a little pressed on room to sort of differentiate that loot and make it all compelling and all that sort of thing. So part of the reason we're doing this shift is to make some of that level 29 stuff and actually lower the minimum level of some of this stuff.
Yeah, no, the real. Let me actually pull up the post here. Yeah, so what we're going to do for a majority of the raids at cap, actually for all the raids at cap, is we're going to adjust their minimum levels. And so you'll find that Killing Time, Curse of Strahd, and Babala Saga, which are our current highest difficulty raids, they're going to go down to level 28, and then from there down to 27 and 26 for the other, because there are like 8 other raids from there. Yeah, there's a chart. But yeah, we're just trying to split it up a little bit because, you know, the level cap has been at 30. We've tried to create compelling challenge, but players really want bigger and better every single time, and we just don't really have a lot of room to go anywhere, and so we have to go, you know, downwards. And one of the bonuses is that gearing in epics has not really necessarily been the most compelling. And there are lots of gaps in itemization, particularly around the mid-epics, you know, roughly like 21 to 25 or so. We've targeted that in the past. Like White Plume Mountain, we had 4 dungeons in the low epics range in order to try and shore up this, but we're trying to really take a solid stab at the upper half of epics to try and make it a little bit easier for you to have compelling gear choices no matter which epic level that you're at.
Legendary Green Steel is not changing. Thunderforge Crafting is not changing. Legendary Tempest Spine and Legendary Hound of Zoriat will not have their tome drops adjusted. Tier 1 contains at-cap non-legendary raids that do not use the legendary raid timer bypass. So the raids that are currently capped that do not use a legendary timer bypass are going to be in Tier 1, and they will have their named raid loot significantly boosted. Our intention is to bring these raid items closer, equal to the power level of gear from Against the Slave Lords at level 26, that being because they're in level 26 raids. These overhauled items will drop where the old items did at the same rate they did. If you have old versions, you can exchange them for new ones with Legendary Souls. We will be getting into Legendary Souls in just a minute, consider it a pretty easy currency to be able to transition that stuff over. I know we speak to a hardcore crowd, so a lot of you are like, okay, now how do I get the new stuff, and what are you going to make me do? No, it's going to be a piece of cake, and I think you're going to enjoy it here. So, Tier 2 will contain the pre-Ravenloft legendary raids. You can expect the raid loot in this tier to be approximately midway between Slavers and Ravenloft, available at level 27. Items in this tier will be boosted to compete with each other, be better than the previous tier, and drop where the old items did. If you have old versions, you'll be able to exchange them. Tier 2 is plus 7 tomes and 6 to 7 upgrade tomes. Tier 3 is the Ravenloft raids, the Curse of Strahd and Old Baba's Hut, as well as Killing Time that just came out. It's almost like we thought maybe we might be doing something like this when we released Killing Time.
Spooky Dragon Raid 2? What?
Yes. These items are not changing in stats or effects, but will be available on one level earlier than they were before. So min level 29 items going to min level 28. Level 28 versions of these items will now drop where the old ones did at the same rate they did. If you have old stuff, you can trade it in. Tier 3 is a plus 8 ability tomes and 7 to 8 upgrade tomes, as well as the plus 1 racial action point tome. Anything you would like to say before we move on to legendary souls and other things?
One of the things we recognize that if you're currently an at-cap player and you're not reincarnating at all, like you're staying at level 30, we recognize that moving your level 28 regular or level 29 regular down to level 28 may not do anything, but it's a very small part of a very cohesive whole that we can better support in the future.
Quick look at chat, which I know is a dangerous thing to do. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I've kind of deliberately kept my focus away from chat so I can keep on track here. This is what I was hinting at last week. Cool. I have no idea what you were talking about. No more room. Time for a adventure pack. We will be doing more of that. Do you think I need a haircut?
Absolutely not.
No, I don't think so either. Yeah.
Absolutely not. Yeah. Definitely not. But one of the things that I did see in chat, will the revamped gear comply with the new 4 effect rule? That is something that was a pretty hot debate in the office, and we ultimately decided that there are not actually a lot of old raid loot that does not already comply with the 4 effect rule. We're not going to be conceptually shifting around the actual effects on any of the items. We're just going to be, whenever there was something that seems pretty outdated, we're going to replace it with our new scaling system. So yes, there are some items that will have grandfathered in 5th and 6th slot effects. Please don't take this as an indication that we're going to do this in the future. Take this as a sort of apology that this that we had to make this compromise. So yes, certain items will have 5th and 6th slot effects, and hopefully you guys like them.
All right, let's see, will tomes be bound or unbound? I'm going to assume they're going to be bound.
Bound, yeah.
I mean, we're talking raid loot here.
Oh, no, they're the ones that are in... The ones that drop out of reigns are unbound, I thought. I have no idea. Whatever the Ravenloft ones did, whatever Ravenloft and Killing Time is doing, I'm doing that.
Okay.
There's no need. I'm not messing with anything like that.
Will that not, by decreasing the minimum level, decrease the main base damage of these items?
I made a really wonderful chart a while ago that shows our relationship between minimum level and base damage of weapons, and there's no linear representation. There's no actual correlation. I'm not going to be lowering any numbers. Like, I promise. I know you guys don't believe me, but the intention is to bring their numbers up and their minimum level down. If we end up in situations in which this would reduce the base damage and stuff like that, we're not going to do it.
Or we will probably have to think hard about it. I don't want to fully commit that we will never do it.
No,
but it's
never.
Definitely not the main intention of what we're going for here.
No, ideally, what we should do is actually put together like an actual system of minimum level to dice, but that's a lot of work, and it's just whatever.
No, we do have. I mean, you're being a little colloquial there. We actually do have some of that work.
My initial thoughts are, because we have an event item scaling that ends up at 5 Ws at level 28. I'm not sure where the new raid league is going to shake out, but it definitely, we're not going to be intentionally hitting these items down a peg in order to make them fit within this, which is part of the reason why we're grandfathering in 5th and 6th That's a tongue twister. 5th and 6th slot effects. So.
Okay, so what the heck are legendary souls?
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking you.
Oh,
what are legendary souls?
They're a thing.
Speak! Speak now!
Speak my wizardry.
Yes. Hello.
So legendary souls. So just like greater tokens of the 12, and just like combinations of heroism, legendary souls are intended to be an at-cap raid resource that is earned through participating in a variety of raids. So if you complete any of the 11 raids that are listed in this thing, you're going to get a proportional amount comparable to the difficulty, compared to because certain raids are actually easier than others depending on the tier. Like Deathworm takes like 45 minutes even if you know it. You'll get an amount of legendary souls. And right now their main use is going to be upgrading old versions of raid loot to their new versions, but we have some spicy ideas in the future about how to really incentivize people to run raids, get as many as possible.
I think what we will find is people will be probably getting as many of them as possible.
Yeah, that's what I would recommend.
But the main point is you're getting this currency that you'll turn your old at-cap raid gear into new and improved versions, but we might find a good use for them in the future. Having some kind of raid token system essentially is a useful thing in the design toolbox. Yeah, well,
the obvious hook in would be like upgrading old raid loot the same way that Caught in the Web and Fall of Truth use combinations of heroism in order to upgrade their raid loot. We could institute a system in the future in which legendary souls interact with some future raids itemization plan, which would incentivize players to bring a variety of different alts to a variety of different raids in order to collect as much as possible.
All right, so if we are lowering the levels, this comes from Brian on Facebook, thank you for this. Are you increasing the DCs of dungeons or monsters to compensate? No, we are not really touching the content. The idea is to match this closer to the content, not the other way around.
Yeah. That's we kind of grouped them by relative difficulty. Like the monsters in older raids are easier than the monsters in newer raids. Like at cap. They've kind of always been tiered like this. We're just trying to make it there's a little bit more of a delineation between the 3 tiers of raids currently available.
Rastin says, hey, yo, does that basically mean that we're not seeing people doing raids? No, I mean, raiding has always been a core part of DDO. It's more that as new contents come out, some of the older raids have been perhaps lost a little bit of their shine, and we've been hearing from the community for about as long as we've been making this game, to perhaps find ways to make that older raid content relevant, and this is a way to do exactly that. So, at least that's the intention here.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons why we're doing this, for consistency, ease of explaining things to players. Makes it a lot easier to plan stuff for the future, makes it a lot easier to understand internally. Like, as a player, you can look at it and go, it's a tier 1 raid, well, it's going to drop this tome, it's going to drop gear at this power level with this minimum level, and it all like, we're just smoothing out a whole bunch of the weird, rough spots that kind of crop up naturally when we add more content to the end of the game.
When are we doing this?
Today? About an hour.
No.
We're targeting update 41, but as always, things could change during development. The office could get hit by a meteor.
Oh my god, do you know how panic that would be if we really had the ability to like make something like this go into effect within an hour of announcing it like that? That would be fantastic. People would be like, oh my god!
Oh god.
Yeah, but like, no, this is coming with update 41.
No, treasure tables are very technically crunchy from behind the scenes, and we have no technology to mess with treasure tables and what drops where and which items. We have no way of doing that.
All right, so if you want feedback, what kind of feedback would you like to get?
Hopefully just tell me I did a great job. That'd be great. But on a more serious note, there's an official discussions post, so if you have anything to say about this, you have any comments or concerns, any questions, we'll try and answer as many of those as we can. Yeah, I really, constructive criticism is always welcome.
The bonus this weekend is a plus 30% challenge rewards boost. Night Revels goes through the
I already just
weekend.
farmed everything out. I should really check the calendar more often.
Well, now you get 30% more after the bonus this weekend, which is going to be a huge one for people who need that Night Revels stuff, of which I still do. Although I do want to thank you. I thank you for the Vargwheel hat, working on my Dragonborn and giving him little...
Oh, that wasn't even me. Like, I hooked up the thing, but that was actually Eric, or that was Kintani. He did the whole... Sometimes he steps in and just does cosmetic stuff, and like out from under my nose is terrifying. It's
All
like a blur.
right, so I think we got enough on that. Anything? Oh, how will this affect Reaper mode, if anything? It really won't. This is a itemization thing more than a content.
Oh yeah,
thing.
just like a variety of other things that drop at variable amounts. You can expect Reaper mode's currency drop amounts to match Elite's 1-to-1. So there's not going to be a Souls benefit for running on Reaper. It's for the challenge and for the fun, and for Reaper bonus on your raid gear.
No projected date of update 41 to announce at this time. Sorry.
I feel like
All right, I'm going to let people ask you like 3 questions before I let you go. The over nerf bug to the monk unarmed strike. Are we going to correct it? Do we have any intentions to work on monked unarmed strike further? I don't think so, right?
I think steel. There's a monks had an inherent 0.5 W that.
Oh yeah,
fell
right.
off.
And that's actually going to be fixed in our next patch.
Yeah, that's in our next patch.
Yeah.
It's in QA already.
Oh yeah. Okay. Hey, great news, Borgie.
Yeah,
yes. The answer is it's going to be fixed and quite soon.
Yes, done.
So, hey, how nice is that? Your only concern is the racial AP tome. That was the big draw. Seeing them drop now is concerning. It is going to be quite the rare item, I do believe.
I would imagine so.
Yes.
But as a philosophy standpoint, we don't really necessarily want to sell direct player power or that having people an option of earning it legitimately in game. That's a slippery slope that I don't really think we really want to fall down.
Yeah. Let's solve all problems related to loot and that right now.
Yeah.
Okay. But nonetheless, it is a way to earn it in game, which is one of the main points of it. So there you go. We have a request from AccuBray via Ailenwee, and I agree with. Next year's Reaper plate should maybe be purple.
I told you on the live stream. It was me and Rob were fighting about it in the parking lot.
Yep,
and it's not fair. He's a better fighter than I am.
Well, we have me and Ailenwee saying purple.
I was saying purple. Rob said green. This is all Rob's fault. Again,
Okay.
I'm absolutely blaming him.
Well, that means maybe this next year.
Yes.
We have a request for purple. You hear it now, folks.
I mean, purple's my favorite color. It's objectively the best color, some would say.
Final question. Will we ever reintroduce 2-slot random items?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
I really... augments... We've been having, like, light discussions about the technical requirements of an augment pass. We don't necessarily have anything concrete at this time, but it's... Yeah.
Anyway,
One
so
thing I can say, though, is that I did figure out why quarterstaves don't drop with their metallic counterparts.
Okay.
So that actually might get fixed. So I can't fix that one thing, but I can fix the other thing.
Nice. All right, thank you so much, Luna Bell, for being here today. I'm going to let you get back to lunch. We're excited about this raid loot thread, though, so that's why you're on here today to talk a little bit and get some.
Thanks for having me.
Get some stuff. So thank you so much for being here,
Awesome.
and I'll talk to you again soon. I am going to briefly go AFK myself. I'm going to load up a song here. I'm going to refill my tea, and I'll be back in just a minute.
I'm a double-barrel kobold! I'm a here today. Kobold still hates you. Kobold may be pack rat, but Kobold no mule. Kobold still hates you. Kobold smell all. Kobold omnisnifian. Kobold still hates you. Wait, what? Wait, what? Wait, what? Wait, what? Kobold still hates you. Oh, another one? Really? Really? Kobold still hates you. Panic! Kobold still hates you. Don't just stand there. Kobold still hates you. No! Kobold still hates you. Yep, Kobold's gonna die. Kobold still hates you. That does it. Kobold on Union break. Kobold still hates you. Kobold remember waterworks. Go, go. Go, go, go. Kobold still hates you. Kobold still hates you. Kobold still hates you. Kobold still hates you. I'm a double-barrel kobold. I'm a kobold on the edge. Kobold still hates you. Kobold not even supposed to be here today. Kobold still hates you. Kobold may be pack rat, but Kobold no mule. Kobold still hates you. Kobold smell all. Kobold omnisnifian. Kobold still hates you. Wait, what? Wait, what? Wait, what? Wait, what? Kobold still hates you. Oh, another one? Really? Really? Kobold still hates you. Panic! Kobold still hates you. Don't just stand there. Kobold still hates you. No! Kobold still hates you. Yep, Kobold's gonna die. Kobold still hates you. That does it. Kobold on Union break. Kobold still hates you. Kobold remember waterworks. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Kobold still hates you. Kobold still hates you. Kobold still hates you. Kobold still hates you. I'm a double-barrel kobold. I'm a kobold on the edge. Kobold still hates you. Kobold.
All right, everyone, how's it going? There we go. Oops, wrong cameras. Oh no, everything's ruined. How's it going, everybody? I'm back, and we are going to be heading to Wayfinder in just a minute to do some cool stuff. Yep. All right, making sure my mic is on. Sounds okay. That song induces a headache. That it does. It is also awesome and amazing, as people have rightly pointed out. I have to be honest, I don't know the provenance of that. That has been around for a very long time. I remember first hearing it maybe in 2008-ish. But I don't know where it actually came from. So if you are that person, perhaps you could get in touch with me and let me know. I would be curious to know. Yeah, since the first Crystal Cove. Yeah. So that would have been, what, more than 5 years ago. Welcome back, everybody. Do I have a caps lock issue? Why is this not working? Give me a quick second, folks. Caps lock is indeed on. My keyboard doesn't give me a good indication of that. My God, can I log into my account? Yes, there we go. think my keyboard's running out of batteries, but should be enough to get me through the day today. Yep. All right. How's it going, folks? I'm going to be heading to Wayfinder, probably just for the next half hour or so, just kind of answer your questions. Do a little bit more news. I would thank everybody, by the way, for those of you who watched, donated, or otherwise participated in Extra Life 2018. Last Saturday, we had 9 a.m. until midnight DDO live streaming on DDO Stream, and that was to raise money for Extra Life. We did that on both the DDO and the Lotro side, and we raised, our current total, actually, we checked from this morning. We were over 12K as of yesterday, and let me see where we are now. And so that went really well. All thanks to you. So if you were a part of it, thank you very much for being a part of it. And yep, we are currently at $12,812 out of a $15,000 goal. And we really appreciate everyone's participation. Are we going to get a Black Friday sale? Someone asks on Facebook. Yes, indubitably, we will have a Black Friday sale. We actually don't have on-hold music at SSG. Man, I could actually go and level up here to 28, which would be kind of nice. But then I'm going to have to re-gear, so let me just stick to my level at the moment. Then what? It's always like, wait a second, where did I leave off? Where was I last on this server? The thing about having characters on every single server is, you know, it's almost like cleaning up your bedroom, you know. The process of seeing this stuff, you're like, oh yeah, I remember when I did that. Let me check out. I think this is the first time I've had this cloak on this character. This is using last year's Night Revels armor. The red/orange. And there's the cape. I suppose let me see if I've got a different cape to put on. I love this part about capes. Oh, and I have last year's stuff, which I noticed is not leaving your inventory like I did last time. Maybe that is a deliberate decision, but honestly, I'm fine with it. No, I don't really have... Man, I got inventory problems with what I have. Oh my god, watch as I take care of my inventory for the next hour. Yay! How's it going, folks? Alright, let's just do the Night Revels thing. What do you think? Want to do Eternity? Yeah, everyone needs those, right? Want to do Eternity? Everybody needs that one, right?
Sounds good.
I don't have anything to announce regarding a projected date for Update 41. We just released Update 40, Patch 1, and I believe we have another patch incoming. It was maybe going to be this week, but then... Oops, did I do this wrong? Shoot. I forgot to accept my purchase. Accept my purchase. There we go. So anyway, this is one of my favorite characters, actually. Even though it's on Wayfinder, which is a server I don't play perhaps quite as often, I really do enjoy Makto, the Barbarian Epic. Still have my one level of fighter, because why not? Ooh, and I got sentient XP stuff to take care of. I need to take a trip to the bank. That's what I gotta do.
Eternity, the spectral dragon, lies in prison, far below the Laris Wayfinder.
We currently have update 41 scheduled
Is evil to speak.
for... Oops, sorry. What am I doing? Sorry, I'm trying to think out loud. I'm not even looking where I'm looking. Sorry, folks. That's the thing about trying to multitask. Okay, so anyway, sorry for saying sorry so much. Sorry. Hey, how's it going, everybody? All right, so what we are going to do regarding update 41 is try to get it out before the end of the year. Do I want to commit the team right now to having update 41 out by the end of the year? Why, yes, I just did. But hopefully that's the plan.
As the beam hits the crystal, a voice from the central chamber bellows in rage.
Yes, Judy from Facebook has a question about what are called T-posing hirelings. Yes, we are aware of that. That should also be fixed in our next patch, which is probably going to be... If we can get it done for the Tuesday weekly restart, we're going to do it then. Stay tuned, though. But probably. And that should fix that issue as well. And then when I'm wrong, and it's not next week, you can all laugh at me. It's fine. Yeah, right. Like, I'm going to say what all the Black Friday sales are. Oops. I screwed up. Shoot. Gosh darn it. What was I thinking?
Oh, this mirror seems to be, no, that's okay.
No, it's me. I accidentally hit the lever. I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing.
A beam of light strikes the gem, and the oculus in the middle of the structure glides open. An eerie voice booms from the central chamber.
Magic curse sealed in the light. Not again. Strong am my servants. I shall not be imprisoned again.
Is there a local VoIP, voice over internet protocol in D&D Online, or do you need a program like Discord? You do not need a program like Discord to do voice chat in DDO. Back in the day, you know, DDO had a... it was a selling point, frankly, to have the built-in voice chat that it has. Over the years, it's perhaps not kept up with your Discords or TeamSpeaks, that kind of thing, but it's still a perfectly valid option and one that you will see people utilizing plenty often in-game. So if you don't want Discord and you want to be able to do voice chat, yes, you will be able to do that. And lots of people will be there with you.
Well done, my servants.
Booms eternity.
With the imprisonment of my God, the intruders cannot harm you. They are
Learbag, that's probably a better question answered by the community rather than their community manager. In regard to the best time for groups at a certain time period in Europe and that.
Eternity is
I don't really feel.
a ritual that will destroy the wards that hold her once and for all.
It's a question I can answer very well. So, in case, I guess this is a little tutorial then. You're basically getting the mirrors back into place. If for some reason you haven't run this yet. Dodge these guys. I find if you are a powerful enough character, you can kind of get through a lot. Man, my healing potions are gone. I should have done that.
A deep mechanical scraping can be heard as the oculus grinds open. In the central chamber,
Cool.
eternity bellows in outrage.
Oops. I tend to find I can take a couple hits. And then I'm in trouble. But you can take a couple hits. We usually do a combination of both. DDO store sales and DDO market sales for like Black Friday.
Yvonne shouts. Seek cover, quickly! Yvonne shouts from the balcony. Seek cover, quickly!
Oleg, I think you should be listening to the first half of today's episode regarding updating loot for dungeons, you say, but this is specifically raids.
The spectral dragon freezes in place as her magical bindings return. Eternity is a prisoner once more.
That went nice. I have always had great experiences on Wayfinder. You know, whatever you want to feel, you are welcome to feel. I have had great experiences on Wayfinder. When's the next mimic hunt? I am not prepared to say.
County.
Alright, I'm gonna grab the aggro. And if someone feels like keeping me alive, that sure would be appreciated. And I got another minute on my rage.
A mummy and its servants drop from the roof. The creature hisses.
Or not. Yeah, whatever gets the job done. That's what I say. Oh man, I'm taking some damage. I don't have any healing. Do I have a better weapon? Probably. Oh shit. Okay, well. Fine, give me a chance to look at which weapon I should be wielding. Yeah.
Thorn has been slain.
I need to get a morning lord, that's what I need. Okay. Go.
The shriveled corpse
There we go.
crumbles to bits. With the mummy gone, Maxwell Stadler nervously returns to the tavern.
Wouldn't be right if I didn't die on stream. Oh yeah, I suppose you're a truth teller you be. So I hope you let me actually provide some value to your viewing experience. The Night Revels will run through November 4th. The Night Revels will run through November 4th. That means you have this weekend And you have next weekend to get it done. And at that point, all that will be left is to shed tears and a big pile of candy. Which is its own reward. Have we ever thought about having our pets able to fight for you? It was very... I remember it being very briefly just kind of considered back in the day when it was first kind of something we were looking at doing. But pretty quickly we realized that was not the right direction to go. We do have that with falconry, however, although it works somewhat different from, say, the creature... Very, very different. Say, from the creature companion system, so... That I'd say probably not, like, legit seriously, but there, I remember it coming up once.
The last of the skeletal forms crackles.
Right now it is an optional system. Or more optional than it would be if we tied stats to it. Lindalay. Oh, really? Come on, we didn't need to pin her in there. We can take care of Lindalay. I believe in you.
Lindalay has been slain.
Make sure you hit this bookshelf for crafting components. It's a great one since you might be running this one a couple of times. Yeah, wizard familiars. Yep. There are dungeons with a lot of collectibles. I can name them, a few of them here, but maybe people in chat would be able to answer some. What are some of the best collectible farms? At this point, Shoemaker, we do not have any intention to have a Night Revels encore before the end of the year. Now, that could change. Never get rid of anything. Always keep everything. But, at least as of today, there is no plan to have a Night Revels encore.
The distant sounds of panicked voices and scattered fighting echo from the walls. The moonlight reveals a path amongst the rooftops.
Okay.
The mummy collapses into a pile of scattered band.
Will my face be shaved by the end of Night Revels? It will indeed, as a matter of fact. I am going to be doing the Movember thing again this year, in addition to this Extra Life thing. We combined them for both games this year, really due to player requests. And I think it's been great. If you've been watching any of the Shroud Palooza stuff on Saturdays, like every third Saturday, second Saturday, I can't remember quite what their schedule is, but shroudpalooza.com has it. And they've been raising money for Extra Life as well as part of Team Standing Stone Games, and they are doing a fantastic job. They are utterly crushing it, and so it's really great. And thank you, everyone who has been willing and able to donate. There is still plenty of time. I'm taking donations through November 15th for Extra Life, and probably December 1st for Movember, but we'll kind of have to see how it goes. The reality is it tends to be a rolling finish. I would guess the reality is probably when I leave for my Christmas break. But we'll see. I'm just being real here.
Revealing a courtyard and a
So, if you want to, besides, I'm not going to say, no, I will not allow you to donate money to charity. No. Trust me, if it's December or whatever, and that's what has to work out best for you, gotcha. We got you covered. It's fine.
The ladder slides into place, allowing access to the rooftops above. Roderick Nettles' undead form slumps to the ground. He gasps. The shield surrounding the Lich fades, and he closes to attack.
Okay. Might as well put an uncanny dodge. Upload with those saving throws. Otherwise, I still have not everything I'm going to be using. So.
The tattered form
We're good. Nice.
and the feeling of dread that surrounded the Lich fades.
Any chance of doing Valentine dungeons like the Night Revels? That would be a fun idea. We tend to be a little busy in February. It's around our anniversary time and that, but maybe. All right, that is 1 o'clock. Let me grab a screenshot here of participants. All right, awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I will get you a DDO points code in the in-game mail a little bit later on today. And thank you very much for watching the weekly Wednesday at Lunchtime live stream on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Hope you had a good time. I hope you learned something today. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you next Wednesday on DDO Stream at noon Eastern. You can find our full schedule over at twitch.tv/DDO Stream. We have got Part 2 of me dungeon mastering on Sunday night, 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern, D&D night on DDO Stream. Sunday night, 7 to 10 Eastern, right here. If you want to see us play some tabletop as well. Hope you're having fun with Night Revels. Hope you are enjoying Update 40, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.